It's the July 24th meeting of the Permanent Municipal Building Committee. On the agenda tonight is a warrant for $793,208.95, and we're just waiting for a member to sign on so we can vote on that. This is going to be a real short meeting. We have a Shake Lane feasibility study, and Stacy's not in for that. Brian, you want to talk on the senior center while we're waiting for Steve to come on?
I can give a quick update on the senior center. Things are moving along great. We had our two members are usually at our weekly meetings. We've poured our slab on deck as of last week, and the exterior framing, light metal gauge framing is due to be on site this week, and they will start the exterior walls. We've been making decisions with our mock-up, and we are currently still tracking slightly ahead of schedule. With our weekly meetings, we're also tracking any of the FF&E, other items that we're coordinating with the town. But currently things are going well. We're bringing the site contractor back on site. He's going to be digging some duct banks for our communication tie-ins to the building. And we're also working with the senior center director about any donations and how the town is going to handle those and how the recognition is going to happen in the building. We did go over two change orders or potential change orders that we are recommending for tonight. And maybe when Steve comes on, we can vote the warrant. And then if anyone has an issue with those, I believe both of you were on the call today. We had a coordination conflict. Once we did our building modeling, it was determined that the kitchen hood, the grease duct, we needed to make some steel modifications. There really wasn't any HVAC upcharges, but we needed to add steel in order to create a parapet, in order to conceal the ductwork that's going to be coming above the roof. That resulted in it. Go ahead.
Steve and I okayed that this afternoon. We just
right. Okay, great. So we have that one, and I'll just say the other one is just a drip pan that's in our MDF room, which is really a belts and suspenders for protection against any of the expensive electronic equipment that's in that room. It's going to create a pan that, in the event that there is a leak, provides more protections before things can get adjusted and corrected. So the total for that change order, the owner change order, would be $20,338.48. I will say that with that included, that still leaves over $460,000 in our construction contingency, and we're tracking to being approved roughly around 15% of our contingency. So we are in a very healthy position with our contingency. We do have some sizable credits coming, but we also have some ads that are coming as well that's still being vetted by the project team. So
Steve mentioned to Al on that that drip pan there that we see if we can put something in there for a temporary, not a complete drain, but just a temporary.
So yeah, I completely agree. That's something I brought up as well. Maybe there's something that we can do to divert water if there is in the event we have that caught in that drip pan, that it's exactly somewhere safely. Yeah,
get some condensation in there or something, so you need to run it off.
Yep. So those are the updates that we have at the senior center.
All right. So you're saying that a drip pan costs $20,000?
No, the drip pan, the original number that came in for the drip pan was around $8,000. It's a sizable drip pan, and it's being fabricated in the metal shop. And then the labor in order to install around the mechanicals is going to be a little bit more labor intrusive. We pushed back on it. We said we weren't in agreement with the labor. It came down to $6,800, which was reviewed by the engineer of record and agreed and recommended for approval at this time.
You know what the square footage is of that, Brian?
Yes. It is it's a two-part system. It looks like one is a 5x2. The other one is 10x4 as well. So I'm sorry, excuse me. That one is 14 by 3, and another one that is 5 by 2. So 10 and 39. So about 50 square feet is what we have.
All right, Steve just signed on.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Steve.
Okay, good.
We got, we're gonna go back to the warrant now. We have 2 line items for King Street. One of them is $9,684 rather than 50 cents. The other line item is $18,702.30. And then we have the first one was Vertex, the second one was LLB Architects. You want to vote on these separate, Steve, or vote them as one whole one?
They were presented as two invoices, so we ought to do Senior Center first and then the King Street second.
Okay, the senior center is Vertex for $45,222.50. LLB $17,878.15. Commodore Builder $697,337.89. Professional testing, is that one, Brian?
Yes, that's the
36
third-party
months?
tester that we have at the senior center that we have the PO opened with the town, so they're paying direct. They're being paid direct.
That was $3,610. And then WSP US Building $773.60. For a total of that one, $764,822.15. They have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the warrant for senior center.
Steve?
I second.
All right, vote. Bartlett?
Bartlett, yes.
Steve Moore?
Yes.
And me, yes. Bob Rumley, yes. The second warrant is $28,386.80, and that's for the King Street building. A motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Second. Steve Moore second.
All right, Bartlett,
Yes.
Steve Moore?
Yes.
Okay, and yes. Steve, one other thing while we got you, we can put off doing the minutes, but we need to get the stuff for the senior center, the COs.
Yeah, the change orders. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Brian, the amount of the change orders?
Yes, and I actually just gave a kind of quick synopsis of them. So, Steve, if you have any questions, let me know. The total of those for change order number 4 would be $20,338.47.
And for the record, Bob and I were at the progress meeting this afternoon, and we went over these. So I'm good with those.
Great.
Motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the change order and what, $20,000 and whatever.
Yep.
Steve?
Steve Moore second.
Bartlett?
Bartlett, yes.
Steve Moore?
Yes.
Bob Rumley, yes. Okay, we can let you go back to your party if you want.
Thanks. We'll do the meeting minutes next time.
And
Okay.
The project seems very grateful, Steve, that they're getting paid. So thank you very much.
Well, you know, that's payment is safety number 1, payment number 2, right?
That's right. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Steve. All right, Brian, the King Street building.
Yep, I'll kick it over to Matt. He's been spearheading a lot of that work, and can give you a quick update on where we stand today.
Sure, I'd be happy to. Let's see, could I share a screen here for a second? I do have a couple of snapshots from our monthly report that was issued earlier today that I wanted to share if possible.
Kirby, can you share the screen for him?
I just
looks like I can.
Guys, you're a co-host, so you can do that.
Okay.
Looks like I can. Okay, can folks see it?
Yep.
You
see
may
a picture?
recognize the formatting of this report from it's adapted from what we have been or how we've been presenting the senior center to date. A couple of key updates that I'll take us through. So we'll start with high level schedule update. We have a formal notice to proceed that will follow the issue of the building permit, and Steve advised us earlier today that the permit is that Classic has the permit now. So we're still on track. We're tracking March 11th as a substantial completion date. I have a few dates on page 2 of this, which I'll touch on in a second. In terms of the project budget, I think folks may know the overall total all-in project budget is a little over 3.3 million. Of that, we have 78% committed to the contractor, to the design team, and we are still carrying some construction and owners contingency to address any change orders that may come up in the process of the project. And should we have money left, there may be some elective scope items that we're able to do while we're here doing work in the building as well. So a couple of items that have been in progress here, FF&E, technology and security. Some of the tech and security items go hand in hand. There's sort of a lot of pieces to this, as well as the overall electrical scope. We'll start with FF&E. LLB was preparing a proposal for the town to review, and we received that back from LLB. We're sort of going through that at this point, but LLB is working through that. We're looking at that as well, just to make sure that we have all of it, all the scope in it.
Matt, is the FF&E going through WB Mason also?
I anticipate that it will. LLB is putting a package together for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be off of the state bid list, Bob. We have the WB Mason quote for the senior center. Jessica may have used a couple other vendors just because of the specific usage of that, whether it's the teen room, some of the kids' furniture can come from better vendors that are on the state bid list. So we'll get that package and we'll see who the vendors are. Like in the library, we use several different vendors for different furniture.
Okay, so let's see, we'll talk about technology and security. We've done a number of walkthroughs with Nancy Glencross and with O'Grady Electric, who's the town's on-call electrician, looking at low voltage scope and what has been requested in terms of technology in different areas of the building. So we did just get a quote back we're awaiting a quote back from O'Grady. We did get a quote back from Neshoba on the security item that we're working on, and Nancy has a few questions that she's put back to Neshoba about the scope that's in that. So that initially came back a little bit higher than we anticipated. So we're sort of parsing through what's driving the cost of that, trying to get that back down, back on track. Beyond that, no sort of issues to report. I think we're still in pretty good shape. In terms of we have a narrative here that was as of the end of the month, actually come quite a bit further since then. The building permit is Classic has that today. Following receipt of that, we'll have a formal notice to proceed, and Classic will really be able to kick it into high gear and start work. We did coordinate with DPW to clear some of the weeds and the landscaping around the building to provide Classic with some access to the exterior so they could begin their siding repair and painting scope that's in their contract. So that has been completed, so Classic can start on that now that they have the building permit. We anticipate that's going to be something that they start on pretty much right away. Some of the exploratory and administrative work that we mentioned in in this report, as of the conclusion of last month, has been continuing. We're getting good responsiveness from both LLB and Classic in terms of processing some of the documentation. We have a construction schedule that's been submitted and that was just returned today, approved, that outlines these dates here. So we have the building permit, which is now in hand. They're looking to basically be completed with demo. I think this was anticipating about 10 days of demo. So this is going to be completed shortly, we anticipate. Looking to get the exterior scope completed by the end of September. I think they mentioned that they're trying to have all of the exterior. They're still tracking pretty close to this date right here. So we're confident that we're generally on this schedule. They're looking to have rough inspections done by the end of October. Interior work totally completed by mid-February. And then this aligns back with the March date that was on page 1 of the report. They're looking to be totally wrapped up by then. So let's see here.
Start stripping the roof on Monday.
That's what we anticipate. Yeah, Classic has been eager to get started, and we know that Kyle has this right in his crosshairs. Is ready to be released. So I did mention we have some construction contingency. This is touching on that, carrying about 10% of the construction contract value in contingency. We were waiting on the submission of a formal schedule of values for Classic to formalize the manner in which they were going to be billing for the project. And so as of the end of June, we had not finalized that. So there are no invoices to date, and we have not been able to process any adjustments yet. There are some PCOs that have been issued and are currently being reviewed and evaluated by our team, but as of yet, there have been no expenses or draws from the contingency.
Ryan, is Classic aware that everything has to be approved through our meetings and we only meet twice a month?
Yes. So we know that we're under a limited budget and a limited contingency that we have. We told them that things are contingent under the building committee's approval. So if something comes up, we're pushing on the architect to release a proposal request so that we can get pricing and we can vet it and turn around as soon as possible. We made that pretty clear during the meetings.
Okay. There were a few photos that were included. I'll just breeze through these. I think you may have seen some of these before. Exploratory excavation was completed around the footings. We've gone over, or based on what we found, Classic has determined how they're going to approach the footing modifications. They're going to do it basically per plan as designed originally. And I think they had another idea of how they might be able to simplify that detail, but we've resolved that with the design team. And then these photos here sort of document some of the level of exploratory demo that was completed so far, as Classic has been opening up pieces here and there to sort of understand how things are currently and what they might encounter as they begin to complete the rest of the demo. The other thing I guess I would say is that as one other item that we came up during our one of our OAC meetings for the project was that there was a piano that was left on site. We worked with the school department, and that has been stored off site, gotten it out of Classic's way. I think they were concerned about damaging that in the course of construction. That issue has been resolved. So we coordinated that last month. Yeah, Ryan, anything else you think I ought to touch on?
No, thanks, Matt. I think that's about it. We're just getting kicked off here. If everybody drives by there during their daily commute, you'll start seeing some of the exterior stuff really take shape next week. Stripping of the roof, installation of the new skylights and the exterior repairs for all of the siding and trim that's going to be repainted. So they want to get that done this summer before the fall turns. So yeah, I think the monthly reports are gonna start taking shape and showing a lot more progress in the upcoming months. So
Brian, just to keep it on the agenda, we talked about the police station today.
yep, for the police station, since we spoke this afternoon, I've talked with my forensic team about getting a rough order of magnitude, about getting somebody out there to possibly take a scan and do some cause and analysis on this, which will better help us and the committee have an understanding about what's happening, whether it is due to the work that had done previously, or whether it's another cause of where this moisture is coming from. So I hope to have that to you guys by the end of the week.
Somebody big from your office going to try to contact them?
Yes.
Apply a little pressure.
Yes.
That's all we got on the agenda other than member input. Bartlett, you got anything?
No, I'm good, thanks. I'll be back in town next week, next meeting.
You're welcome in the construction house too.
I'll be back there too. I'm sorry to
Cool.
miss today.
Great.
All right, Steve, I guess, I don't know whether he signed off or not, but that concludes the meeting then.
All right. Then
Thank you guys for showing up.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Good night, all.
Roll
Good
call
night.
vote.
Thank you.
Roll call vote.
Oh, a roll call vote. All
Bartlett,
right. Bartlett votes yes.
Bob's yes.
Steve, if you're still on.
We're still here, yeah.
No, Steve should vote by roll call if he's still on.
He's not on.
No? Okay.
He's not listening.
He just came on to do the voting. And he probably left his computer on.
Yeah.
Thank you,
All right,
gentlemen.
Kurt.
All right.
Right.
I declare two out of two is a majority, so. Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Good night. Thank you, guys.